All right, good stuff. Let's take a look at now what we said. All right, I'm going to tie this all together as to why I'm referring to kind of my training, but let's take it from here. So in 1981, I am trained to go out and sell right away. The training was designed in the 70s. So, male, born in 1920, World War II. And now let's take a look at some of the other things that we talked about. What was this decision maker like? Probably one job for life. Somebody here said, they had some college. So, after college, I guess some college means they had some college individually or some had college because they had the GI Bill. So after that, they probably went and had one job for life. Most likely, we're not talking dual career couples, we're talking one income. I mean, let's be honest, these folks paid cash. Credit was kind of a foreign concept to them. If they had it, in buying a house or something like that, they rushed to pay it off. So cash was king, and they paid cash for everything. The 3 martini lunch and the snail mail are kind of, I thought that was funny, but they're kind of interconnected. If you were in New York and you needed some information from one of your sister offices in Los Angeles, well, you needed to wait for snail mail. I mean, it couldn't be scanned and then PDF'd and sent to you. You couldn't have it instantaneously, or even, is when we were coming up through business, having it faxed to you. None of those technologies were there, so you had snail mail. So you had some time on your hands. So if you had a 3 martini lunch, you had a 3 martini lunch. But the other thing, though, is that the 3 martini lunch was actually kind of invented by, obviously those decision makers partook of it, but from a sales standpoint, because decision makers then would see salespeople, because salespeople housed information. They knew things about your competition. They knew things about different industries, different products, those kinds of things. So if you wanted to learn that, meeting up with a salesperson was one of the best ways to get that. Again, you couldn't get on the internet and Google one of your competitors to find certain things out. So, the reality is that, the 3 martini lunch, that time was there so they could get some information and glean information from the salespeople. So, the Buy American, obviously, have gone through World War II. So in my situation, I get a job with Xerox, the American brand in that industry. So that was good. Limited technology. Somebody said, they didn't have any of those things. So very limited. I mean, somebody born in 1920 oftentimes had a strategy for this newfangled computer, and that was ignore it. I'm going to be retiring soon anyway. Dinner at 5:36, but boom, right on time. We had dinner. That was the way that it was. When it said delayed career timing, I think what we talked about was they didn't, purposefully delay their career. They were a little older at certain points of their careers than maybe future generations because they had spent that time in the military. So, taking a look at this, let me tie this all up of why we talk about the Industrial Revolution down to the post-information revolution. This person was developed in the height of the Industrial Revolution. The height of the Industrial Revolution was these folks' mid-career. That's what they learned in. They learned command and control. They learned, that military model. Draw up the battle plans, give it to the field, give it to the privates who run out. They realized, and I mean all of this very respectfully, that you follow orders, that there is a chain of command, that you don't go over somebody's head. If you don't follow orders and implement what you're supposed to do, you die. I don't mean like we might say, oh, I'll die if that. I mean, actually get killed. So these folks, that's what they learned coming up. And the reason why we have to think about this is think about my experience. In 1981, I'm trained to sell to this person. Anybody that had any amount of experience, they move into a management role, and then they turn around and they train others. Though any of those folks that have any experience or success, they turn around and then they train others. And the reality is we keep training people in what we learn to do. I don't mean this to be funny at all. But the reality is, so many sales techniques now are designed for this decision maker who is either retired or dead. I mean, this decision maker is 85 to 95 years old right now, and so many sales techniques and so many sales strategies are designed to connect to this person. And they are no longer here or in the roles, their decision-making roles, to be connected to. So, let's do this. This is where those negative stereotypes of sales comes out. This is where we sometimes direct some of our marketing strategies, and we talk here, it's going to be very important to target our market. So, now, let's take a look at what a 21st century decision maker looks like. And let's look at some of the same things that we would have talked about for the 1970s decision maker. Let's look at some of those same elements and compare and contrast them. Take a moment and write down what are some of the things that we know about today's decision makers. Take a moment and do that, would you please?